What's up, everybody? Back again. Ready to get to cracking a little bit. I got the old school heat and air shirt on. Ghetto ass ugly Clemson flip flops. Whatever. So, I'm prepared. Let's dig in a little bit. Alright, y'all. Picking up where we left off, I've done absolutely nothing. I've had baseball, another baseball team, crazy work schedule, a fishing trip to the mountains, etc., etc., etc. Constantly, I had stuff to fix around the house like crazy, tons of other stuff to do, so I haven't done anything to her, except screw around a little bit, mounting my water pump up like you saw in the last video. I did, however, buy a piece of metal so that I can make standoff brackets for my alternator. I got a humongous thick piece of 1/4-inch plate at the scrapyard for $3 and a couple other things, which leads me to the budget and where we're at on money. So I tell you what, how about we go over that real quick? Now, you guys know I do it all legit. I don't bullshit about what I bought, and I don't want to mislead anyone on everything. So you're not going to be able to find the exact same prices on things that I did. Your area may be more or less expensive. I don't know. How could I? So it's a good representation of what I've spent, what you can look forward to spending. If you're going to have somebody do this stuff for you, you're going to pay more. So don't get mad. To be honest with you, my labor involved in this so far is probably well past the thousands. It's just the facts. So being able to do it yourself saves you all of that, basically double the cost of what labor would be. Whatever you're doing, double it. That's how much it's going to cost because of labor. So let me get out the whiteboard real quick and we'll go over all of it. But first, schwappa, I scored a set of 4-lug 15 by 10 weld wheels. You see right there, Weld Racing, with brand new 26 10.5 ET drag slicks. You see they still got the little tits on them right there. Brand new. I managed to look, now check this out, y'all. I looked for tires for months. I've looked and looked and looked because I wanted to find a set of 4-lug 10-inch wheels to go on the back. But I couldn't find those that didn't have some ridiculous price tag along with them. Plus, I was looking for tires. I've been entering a raffle. I've been trying to barter. Well, I finally got lucky and I scored these. I paid a whopping $150. That's right. Yeah. Which leads me to the big board. There's another video that I did on 12/24/18 that explains how much I've spent so far, which was $28.38. That's car and everything from that point. That's everything, every nut and bolt, less the tools. I don't put the tools on here. You don't have to buy the tools I buy. That's just my choice. They are very helpful. And I can make a big list of, the tools I've done too. So anyway, then it was $28.38. So the turbo, intercooler, wastegate, blah, 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 everything I bought, $8.79. The fuel cell that's in the trunk over there that I haven't even installed yet, $100 off of eBay. The turbo hot side piping, which was everything that I custom made, including the flange under the turbo. All of that. Everything, $100. Made it myself, so you're going to have to do that on your own. If you don't want to make it yourself, it's going to cost 10 times as much. The Holley Terminator X that I haven't even installed yet, but I opened up in another video, that was a solid $1,000. There's no escaping this, y'all. You can try to go cheap and do a HP tuner setup if you have someone with an HP tuner's bus cable and main setup, but it's going to cost you roughly between $20 and $100 for the computer. Then it's going to cost you $100 for the HP tuner credits. Then if you actually have to buy the HP tuners, it's $600. That's $750 right there, and you're on HP tuner software, which isn't the best software. It's good, not the best. The best is the Holley software. And you can ask anyone in the industry or anyone in the tuning side of things, either Holley or Fuel Tech or Hall Tech are the top three probably. And then I'd put HP tuners and micro squirt down there around 4 or 5. The original plan was to go with the gold box. Gold box, $1,500 plus the harness. So this thing came out, it worked out. Slicks and wheels, I just said $150. The radiator they got from Summit in another video, $140. That nice aluminum radiator. The water pump brackets and all the other shit that I've been buying on here and there that I've been trying to find that I didn't have worked out because it's $100. Remember, I went to the junkyard and got some of that stuff. I actually managed to sell a bunch of stuff. All right, so I sold a bunch of injectors. I actually went to the junkyard and took like 32 injectors off of different cars. And I sold those injectors to a guy who makes injectors, who decaps them and makes them flow from 35 to about 72 pounds per hour. And he paid me for those. I had an old truck intake I sold, and the throttle body with drive-by-wire. I had a drive-by-wire harness that I sold, and a couple other odds and ends. Anyway, it added up to about $475 worth of stuff I sold. So I just deducted that from the price of all this, right? Because I'm just putting the money right back in. That gives me $1,994 that I spent since December. God, that's a lot. Fuck. This is why I don't like doing this, y'all. The original what I spent, $2,838, and what I've spent so far. That leaves me $168 to build the transmission, put a shift kit in it, buy a converter, etc., etc., etc. All right, check it out. It's just not going to happen. I could cheap out and buy a bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to do it. So this may be $59.99 in the end, but it's still going to be $5,000. All right. Sorry. I know that kind of seems like a lot of money. And it actually is, right? $6,000. Fuck. I did most of this on the side, just side work at work, trying to work extra overtime, selling some parts. You just got to suck it up and work for what you want. I don't know what else to tell you guys. It's not going to come free. If you want something, go get it. Earn it. Fight for it. And I want this, so I'm going to keep working towards it. Also, I have a mega vacation coming up. It's been forever since I've had a real vacation. Something I just don't really care to do a whole lot. I should do more of. So, I got a vacation coming up, and I'm about to drop some money on that. That would have went into the car, but you don't get where I'm going. You don't get a chance to go very often, so I'm going to take that chance and go with it. I'm very excited, so maybe we'll make a video of that when we do it. Whatever. Less blabble, more work now. How about that? If you remember in the last video, I was working on this alternator, trying to find the right spot to mount it, etc. I'm going to go to the truck, get that spacer, work on cutting it where I want it, get a rough guesstimate, and see about mounting it a little better and getting it lined up. I think that's a good thing to work on. So let's have at it. All right, y'all. Sorry for the long gap in videos. It's been a little bit. I've been really busy and tired. And it's also gotten really hot lately, so I've been busier at work. A lot of stuff going on. Both boys are playing baseball. Both boys are doing other stuff. So we've got school graduation coming up, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, I haven't messed with the car at all. Just kind of caught up on some rest when I could. Tried to go to bed a little earlier. My insomnia has been a little lower. My anxiety's been a little lower, which is nice. So I guess that means let's get back to the car, right? I bought some stuff. I'm going to try it out here in a little bit. But first I want to finish cutting up this core support. I actually didn't work on the alternator at all. I worked on the core support, cutting it off and getting space for the radiator to drop in. So I'm going to take the bumper back off and start on that. Get it finished. It shouldn't take too long. All right, so I just cut out this massive chunk here. All I left was this tiny little thin strip on the front, just to hold it together. I'm getting closer and closer to tubular front end here, huh? Was not the plan, y'all. So, the good news is it fits in there now. The radiator goes all the way down as low as I'd like. The bad news is the feeler neck hits the header. So I'm left with a couple options. I can either redo the header, which I really don't want to do, and get a new radiator, which I really don't want to do, or I can cut the outlet here and change it and make it point up, which I think is going to be the plan of action. Radiator fits really good and looks really good in there. It's just that it barely hits. So I'm thinking if I just pie cut this a few times and turned it up to either a 45 up or something similar, that'd work a lot better. So that's probably what I'm going to do. All right, so the conundrum that I've got is that's aluminum. It's brand new and I really don't want to cut it, but I don't have a lot of choices. So I got to figure out some way to do this aluminum stuff. All right, well, I saw a little thing on Facebook about the aluminum welding. I know it's not welding, it's brazing. But I went ahead and bought some just to be the test pilot to see what happens. I need to do my intercooler piping regardless. So I got to thinking, what if I just buy it and try it, right? So I actually bought some of the easy welding aluminum brazing rods and some flux. And I'm going to give it hell here on aluminum pipes for the intercooler, see if it works. All right, so I've got a couple of these 60-degree bends. I've got a couple 45-degree bends. I need to go 180 degrees over here from, obviously, from the intercooler to the turbo. I've got decent amount of room, but limited amount of room. So I'm going to start down here and work my way back. So I'm almost positive that this piece is pretty close to long enough, but it's not got the right angle. So I'm going to work on adding another 30 degrees worth of angle to this bend by cutting some space out of it and slowly bending it till I get it to where I want it. So that's going to be the first thing on the agenda. Then we'll tackle the upper part there, and I've got a flange that adapts to the turbo also, the the V-band flange that goes on the turbo discharge there. So let's work on this one first. All right, I've roughly measured out about a 1/2 inch here. I'm going to cut this section out here, and I'm going to put these two pieces together. And I'm slowly going to work toward getting this back to 90 degrees. I'm going to start with this much. May or may not be too much. I don't know. Just kind of experiment until I get it right. Whatever, you can do this at home. Just try it on an extra piece of pipe until you get, the angle that you want. You can just do this on flat pipe too. You got to cut multiple pieces, but whatever. It works best with a bandsaw. I don't have a bandsaw. I got a sawzall. So I'm going to start cutting here and see what happens. All right, so that 1/2 inch got it almost to 90 degrees. It's not quite. I just test fitted on the car, and I think it's going to work out better that it's not exactly 90 degrees. I may end up having to cut this and add some to get it a little bit farther out so that my 90 coming off of the turbo won't be so sharp. So I've already ground this flat with the grinder, used a file to get the edges clean, and I've hit it with the wire wheel right there. So now I'm going to get my welding rod or brazing rod and some flux and put some heat to it and see what happens. Test these rods out. All right, so for 20 bucks, I got this Forney premium brazing flux, and I got BD triple play Blue Demon welding products aluminum brazing rods. I think there's like 12 of them in there, or 10. You know what? I'm not sure if this is going to work or not, so I say we just throw it to it and give it hell and see what happens. I'm going to put a little flux on there and fire up the torch. All right, so the report back here is this stuff does work. It's just, it's so touchy on temperature. You can't just hold the heat on it like the videos show. You really got to back off. I do a lot of brazing at work, and I'm pretty good at it. And this stuff is so touchy because it's aluminum. It melts as soon as it touches the pipe, and it just disappears if you're not careful with it. So it's all about heat management, backing your torch off, backing it on, in and out until you get it how you want it. Once I got going, it got a little easier, and I figured out a better way of doing it. So it works. Now, I'm not sure about how it grinds because we're going to hit with the grinder here in a second and see if I can knock these nasty looking edges off of it. And we'll go from there and see. So I'll report back in a minute after the grinder hits it. All right, so I got one of the other pipes that I had. I got a couple more over there. Cut the end of it off, as you see. This is the flange that goes to the discharge of the turbo. I've scuffed it up with the wire wheel. It fits really nice. As you see, there's actually an O-ring that goes on the bottom. I've already taken the O-ring off and got it over there next to the turbo. I'm going to get this one on first, kind of put it on and mock it up and get an idea of where the next cut's going to be on the other one, so I can kind of meet in the middle, if that makes sense. So this will be the first joint like this with these welding rod or brazing rods. Let me see how it does. Worst case scenario is it doesn't work. I'll just take it back out. So, all right, let's give it a whirl. All right, so, damn. All right, well, I got my 90s made into a 45s made into a 90. I think it's still hot. As you see, it's about 3 inches too long. The radius of that 90 is just a little too wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 3 inches dead out of the middle of this thing because it's about 3 inches too long. And from there, I will kind of remeasure and stuff. It's either shorten or lengthen this pipe or shorten this one. If I can't lengthen it, but so much more because I'm running into the fender here. So then I cut 3 inches out of the middle. All the work I did just to get that pipe together is gone. But hey, that's the beauty of figuring it out. There's no answer. You just got to find it on your own. So it's actually more lined up there. See, it's actually more of a gap than I thought. So I'll take about 4 inches out of the center of that. It's going to be a pretty tight bend, but it'll have to work. So let's get back to it. You know what? I think I'm going to stop. This video is getting kind of long, and it's past midnight now. I've made pretty good progress. I just wanted to try this stuff and see did it work. And my summation is that it does work. It's a little tricky to use, and it's kind of a butt to get it to stick, and it's super touchy on your heat, but it's strong as hell. You see this bead I did here on it. It's much better. It's strong as hell. You can't break it off. I hit it with a hammer really hard just to see what happened. It just bent the pipe. Didn't hurt the seam. So I think it'll work. We'll have to test it to find out, but hey, that's part of it. Anyway, let's wrap this up and get this thing thrown online for the first time in about 3 weeks. All right, thank you guys for everything. I'm over 100 subscribers now. I swear, I never thought anybody would really care to watch these videos as much as they do. I've got thousands of views on some of them. Blows my mind. So I'll get this thing loaded up. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share these. Tell everybody about it. It's a budget build. I want everybody to be able to do this. So weld your aluminum, braze your aluminum, keep it under budget. Till next time, guys, here's some videos to watch. Peace.